have ties to the ancient Ghana Empire, which ruled in the western hemisphere of the African continent. Senegal is a republic with a so-called semi-presidential system, according to Wikipedia. This morning we have in the studio His Excellency Ambassador Amadou Kebe in the studio, who will be answering our questions. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Would you please take us a little bit briefly, take our listeners briefly into your career, as a diplomat?
All right, let me just start by saying thank you for welcoming me in your program. And also would like to say how glad I'm here to an African radio, African program. And I'm very happy to be here and to address some issues we are going to discuss. And I would like to start by apologizing to your listeners.
Yes.
You said it, I'm a French-speaking person.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to communicate in English. So I would like listeners to
be aware of this.
To be aware of this and to forgive my broken English.
It's well accepted.
Yes. Okay, having said that, I just would like to say I started my diplomatic careers 30 years ago. In fact, before that, in a previous life,
Yes.
I started a career of teacher.
A teacher.
I was teaching history and geography, African history and geography in secondary school for 11 years. After that, I went back to university to study international law and to join the institute, our institute for training for diplomats.
Yeah.
3 years of training, and after I joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1982.
Okay.
All right, I'm coming to your program just at the time where I'm ready to leave the Netherlands.
Really?
Yes, I'm going for retirement at the end of this month.
Oh!
You see, we planned this program 1 year ago.
Yeah.
We couldn't make it. I really apologize for that.
No
I'm covering 8 countries,
Ooh,
apart from the Netherlands, all the Nordic countries, some Baltic countries.
I see.
I'm always on the go, and it's very difficult for me to fix the program.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm very happy
We made
that
it
in
fun.
my,
Yes.
I mean, in these very late hours,
Yes.
to be able to come and to discuss with you and your listeners.
Thank you. We
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
that. We thank God for that, making that possible as well. Go ahead. Have you finished with a little intro about your career?
Yes.
You're done with that?
Yeah. As I said, I'm going for retirement, and I started the diplomatic career at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
head of division, second counselor,
Mm-hmm.
director of department,
Mm-hmm.
ambassador. As ambassador, I was representative of the African Union, OAU African Union, to the United Nations for 6 years,
Okay.
from 97 up to 2004. Ambassador to South Africa, to Ethiopia, and to the Netherlands. You see, at the time, I was on secondment to the OAU,
Yes.
and for 6 years I was in New York at the United Nations headquarters. Well, I was coordinating the work of the African group, of all African ambassadors.
Wow.
So,
At the UN.
at the UN,
Okay.
I was the representative of the African Union, OAU African Union. I was there during the transition, and I used to come back with all the decisions taken by the summit of head of state and the council of ministers, and to try to work this out with ambassadors in New York. So on all issues concerning Africa,
yes,
I had the records, and I was trying to make sure that all African ambassadors in the UN are talking in the same voice, putting on the table decisions taken by head of state.
Wow.
And that work of coordination and being also present at the Security Council where African issues were discussed. So for 6 years I was doing that job, and after that I went back home to the diplomatic service in Senegal. Sent back to Ethiopia. I was there as counselor, first counselor. I came back as ambassador, permanent representative to the African Union and members of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union.
Amazing.
Now I came here in the Netherlands just at the end of my career, 2 years before I go for retirement, to set up the embassy of Senegal, because we didn't have an embassy here.
Yes.
We were represented by our embassy in Brussels. And at the end of 2010, the government of Senegal decided to open an embassy here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, let's say, a very critical time where everybody was revising their attitude towards development and aid. All right, with the Netherlands, we used to have a very big program of cooperation. The Netherlands authorities was, I shall say, executing a lot of development program in Senegal. And let's say, we decided to open an embassy here at a time where the Netherlands decided to take Senegal out of the list of countries benefiting from
Development aid.
development
And
aid.
why was that?
Well, it's not just a decision of the government of Netherlands, it is the decision of the European Union. All European Union countries have decided that they are going to reduce aid little by little, and some countries that have been judged that doing well was withdrawn from the list of countries.
So Senegal is doing quite well. In their judgment.
This is not our judgment. Our judgment is we still need this aid.
Okay.
But you know, in the history of countries, it comes a time where people revise their position.
Yes.
And sort of a kind of crossroad where we were in Senegal, and where the government decided, all right, we shouldn't rely on aid to develop our country.
Yeah.
We should go a step further and try to develop cooperation, exchange,
Yes.
investment, transfer of technology. Because the principle of aid is no longer what it was. We knew at the end of the Second World War how Europe, destroyed by the war, had benefited from the aid coming from the US. We also
where had the same
how at the end of the Korean War, when America decided to develop South Korea, it was not by aid. It was by investment and transfer of technology. And all this very well monitored. So aid in Africa, 50 years of aid have done nothing. And everybody witnesses that. If at the very beginning of the inception of this aid, we put all the guarantees that the money put for the people goes to the people.
Yes.
We are going to be developed.
Yes.
There was a way for that.
Yes.
But it has never been that way. And that's the reason why we have to change the concept. Instead of waiting for aid coming to us,
yes,
we are going to develop another concept. Cooperation, investment, joint venture,
yes, yes, yes.
win-win
Agreement
and something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
you see,
yeah.
by transferring technology, by allowing us to transform raw materials we are producing
Yes.
on African soils.
Yeah.
We are going to create jobs, we are going to create wealth.
Yes, yes.
That's not by receiving money from other countries.
No.
All right, at that crossroad we were, and when we decided to open this embassy, it was just to convince our partners, especially the business people, private sectors, show them what they can benefit by coming investing in Senegal and transferring their know-how, their technology to the Senegal, and to create a win-win situation where they can benefit from investing at a time where investing in Europe is no longer valid because they have a lot of setback in Europe.
Yeah.
They are at the point where investment in Europe is no longer giving what returns. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that wonderful insight. I think you will be a great asset. In fact, not that you will be, you are a great asset to the African community or to African leaders. And I think you've done so much, in the span of your career. It's a pity we haven't heard much about you. And I didn't know we didn't know you've done so much. But anyhow, let's go. I would like to ask, how many Senegalese are in Holland, in the Netherlands, at the moment that you're aware of?
All right. The Senegalese community is around, let's say, 1,500.
1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So do you get together with them? I mean, regularly?
Regularly we are getting together. Regularly we are working together.
Okay.
We are cooperating, and the situation of the Senegalese community here is the same than the other African communities.
Yeah.
All right. Most of them, they arrive here early and they manage to get citizenship.
Yeah.
So that means they are Netherlands.
Yes.
They are from this country.
So have they?
But they don't break the roots with the country of origin. Others are here as Senegalese in a regular situation.
Yeah.
Some are here in an irregular situation. So we are trying to get all these people together. Yeah. Because even with those who are here with the Netherlands passport, they are also going to Senegal.
So do they have the dual citizenship? They
lose? No.
They lose the Senegalese citizenship?
Dual citizenship doesn't exist in Senegalese law.
Oh, okay.
Whenever a Senegalese citizen gets a new citizenship,
he loses, or she loses.
He loses his Senegalese citizenship, with some exception.
Okay. Some
exception. If you get a new citizenship while you are a minor, you can keep the two.
Oh, okay.
But when you are an adult, if you choose another citizenship, you lose your Senegalese citizenship.
Okay.
So now people are trying to see this. We have it for 50 years. People are trying to see whether we have to change this. Right.
Well, I think that should be changed. I think, yeah. Well, so now your country has had a relationship with the Netherlands for a couple of years, even dating back to the colonial era. How would you describe the relationship then and now?
Let's say we always have very good relationship with the Netherlands. as I said at the very beginning, the Netherlands are executing a lot of development program in Senegal.
Yeah.
And they have been present in Senegal, let's say, around more than 30 years. They have an embassy in Senegal.
Okay.
We are the one who just opened an embassy here because we couldn't afford to have embassies everywhere.
Yes, of course.
Taking into account our economic situation, we don't have, let's say, you see this embassy in the Netherlands is covering 8 countries. You see how we operate.
Yeah.
But the Netherlands has always an embassy in Senegal. And our relationship is a very good one. And we want, but it was from government to government. We want to go one step further, to have a relationship between Netherlands citizens and Senegalese citizens, trying to put the business people in both countries together, and to create a new way of having economic tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Now, which way has your tenure? How long have you been embassy of Senegal to the Netherlands? How long?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years. We opened on March 2011.
2011.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much have you been able to do within a short time to realize this relationship between Senegalese businessmen and Dutch businessmen?
You see, that's not easy when you arrive in a country, and you see, I think they asked me to come here because of the experience I have in opening embassies in foreign countries.
Right.
That's not an easy job. I have an experience on that. I opened the Senegal embassy in South Africa.
Okay.
It was in 1994. And that's the reason why, you see, they never sent an ambassador for 2 years. But I was 2 years from retirement, and they asked me to come and to set up the office. And that was not an easy job. You have to look for premises.
Yes.
I managed to convince my government to buy the premises of the office, the chancery.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something very important.
Yes.
It took me something like almost 1 year to convince them to put that money.
Wow.
Now it is done.
Okay.
For the residents, we are still renting, but for the office, it is the property of the government of Senegal.
Wonderful.
All right, we managed in 2011, before the end of the year, we managed to organize a forum of business people from Senegal and the Netherlands. And that forum went well, and it was a success. And I plan to organize the second forum this month. Unfortunately, I'm going, but we maintain the date, 26th of June.
Okay.
Yeah. And well, I'm working with administrative structure in Senegal, and some event organizer.
Yes.
And in the Netherlands, my main partner is NABC.
Okay.
And we are trying to organize this second forum. It was planned on 2012.
Yes.
But we couldn't make it because of the government crisis here in the country, because the Minister of Economy and Finance of Senegal was supposed to come and attend this forum. And you know, with the politician, it is not easy to control their program. But we decided, even without minister, to organize this forum on June this year. and this is where we are. We are targeting some sectors like agriculture, water, environment, infrastructure. These are the main area where the government of Senegal is looking for investments. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Wow, this is awesome.
Great job, great job, great job. Well, then the rest of course, Senegalese citizens and also the rest of Africa must know what is happening in Senegal, and I think that is why it's important you are here, that you can blow the trumpet, because for the most part you don't hear too much about Senegal. Perhaps because it's French speaking, so if you don't speak French, you may not be able to catch the news of what's happening. But now you're here, I think you can blow the trumpet and let everybody know what's happening.
You know, that's,
Yes.
we have this communication problem in this country.
Yeah.
And you see, there is a false image of Senegal.
There is.
Everybody is saying Senegal is a chasse gardée of the French business people and everything. Nobody can get investment in Senegal. Nobody can get a contract in Senegal apart the French people. That's not true.
It's not true.
Senegal is a very open country, and we are showing it by creating a lot of opportunity of joint venture and business opportunity in Senegal.
Yes.
We are going everywhere in the world with America, with the Chinese, the Asian country, India, China, Thailand. We have excellent ties with them. Korea, South Korea, and even some countries which have been targeted by Western countries like Iran, like Cuba. We have excellent relations with these people. What is important for us is Senegal interest. It is Senegal interest.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Edmond. I would like to ask a question. The ambassador was talking about investors. They are trying to, invite investors into the country.
Yeah.
Of Senegal. Yeah. Are they also looking at the possibility of investment African investors, or they are only looking at investors from outside Africa? Because I have the impression we do from African countries, we always look outside Africa for the investors.
Yeah.
What I mean is, are we looking for example, a Ghanaian company to invest in Senegal? Are they also looking at that possibility? How do they make? And what are the provisions they are providing for such investors who may not have a gigantic means, but are well off from Africa and can still start something? Are they also looking at that?
Great. Thank you for the question. Yeah, Ambassador, did you hear the question?
Yes.
Yes, I hear the question. I think all investors are welcome in Senegal. And we put the rules, and the rules are the same for all people wanting to come in Senegal and to invest.
Yes.
The problem is we have sectors targeted by the government and where we want to attract foreign investment.
Yes.
Whether it is coming from Africa, from Europe, from Asia, from America, it doesn't matter. What we want is credible investors putting enough guarantees, and if you are serious on your work, you have a cahier of charge. You can go through it. So you go to all these sectors, you know where you can create, especially countries like Ghana, who is member of ECOWAS. We are all in the same regional organization.
Yeah.
And there is no project in Senegal that is not going through the regional organization. Everyone who wants to, we have created in West Africa, especially in ECOWAS zone, the free movement of people and also of resources. So everyone is welcome, and I think we are not saying we want European, we want Americans, we don't want Africa. That's nonsense.
But I think the point he's trying to make, we sometimes, you know, like the forum you're talking about, sometimes the way we set it up, it appears to be targeted more at Western investors, Western businesses, more than African businesses. And I think that's what the caller was trying to highlight. Because we could offer, we could organize, let's say, a regional West African business forum or something, and especially targeted at other companies or investors within Africa or West Africa sub-region.
Let me tell you, we are in Europe.
Yes.
We are not in Africa. I'm not in Africa.
Yes.
We have an embassy in Nigeria. We have an embassy in Accra. We have an embassy in Abidjan.
Yeah.
And these embassies are playing their role by trying to attract investors. You see, the assignment is the same for all Senegalese ambassadors outside the world. Try to attract more investment in Senegal. So, people who are in Accra working with Ghanaian economic sector have assignment to attract more Ghanaian investors in Senegal. The problem is, are investors in Africa ready to invest their money in a country they don't know very well? The role of the embassy is trying to explain to these people what are the opportunities, what are the benefits they can gain, and if necessary, if people are interested, the ambassador will take, like I'm doing, bringing business people from Senegal to come and sit down with eventual investors in the Netherlands to discuss opportunities of investors, to try to see in which sector, what kind of partnership they can create. This is what I'm trying to do, and this is what all the ambassadors in all the countries are trying to do. But I cannot. Yes, go ahead. I cannot respond. I cannot say what is good, what is going on in Ghana. What I can say is what is going on here. What I'm targeting is investors in the 7 European countries I'm covering.
No, I think we just want to, get a consensus on this, because the fact of the matter is that we, from Africa, African governments, we tend to look very much to Western helpers, companies, governments, to come and invest in our country, in our economies, which is okay because they have the money, they have the resources, they have the technology. But it looks like we tend to forget that somehow on the regional or sub-regional level, there could be some competencies which we can share among ourselves, and which can help to boost our development. Because what we see reported in the media mainly is what the Westerners are doing for us, and that's why, like you said in the beginning, when Europe needed to develop, when Korea needed to develop, America had to put in money, they put in skills, know-how, cooperative ventures, more than development aid, and which has helped them. So maybe that's a model we can adapt and look within our own sub-region and try to see how look for, because there are some good universities, good institutes, and good maybe research centers or what have you in some African countries. We can take the best of what we have and transport it or relate it back into some of the regional or sub-regional economies, and I think it would go a long way to help us.
I agree with you. Yes. I agree with you. We should count on ourselves first, before counting on outsiders. For that reason, I agree with you. You see, where we are here is just one step, and we have to go further to that. And just to this is addressed to your listeners who ask this question. I think I don't believe in aid. I believe in cooperation. More than that, I believe in integration. I think the only way for African countries to get out of this situation we are in is by integration. ECOWAS is one step in integration, but that's not enough. We have to go to an African integration. If you look at our countries, if you look to the way we are cooperating with other continents, you'll see 54 African head of state sitting in front of China, one head of state. You'll see the cooperation India-Africa, 54 African head of state in front of one head of state of India.
Wow.
Even with Turkey. We are doing this with all over the world. That's not serious. That's not serious. As long as we are 54 African countries, each country is trying to find its own way. We are not going to achieve much. But if we manage to get integrated in the continent, it will be one country of 1 billion inhabitants, a market of 1 billion consumers. We can stand much stronger when we are dealing with others. If you everywhere in all continents, people are trying to get together because we have partners who are very strong, and you cannot deal. I mean, if you are 50 kilos, you cannot fight against somebody who is 120, 130. That's unequal. If we want to stand as a credible partners in front of the world, we have to.
Same strength, same.
And I'm very confident that within the 10 years coming, we are going to do a very strong step in integrating Africa. Now we have a lot of loopholes, a lot of constraints, the problem of sovereignty of state. But within 5 years, you see, non-African countries will be able to go a step further. We'll be so weak, we cannot compete with others. The only way for us to survive is to get together.
Yes.
So the sovereignty, the borders, the flags, the national anthem, and everything, all this has to disappear. If you want to get together, this is the only way we can survive. All right, trying to have partnership with other countries, other continents, that's a good thing. Trying to attract investment in our countries, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But we will never be able to have our future on our hands when we will be 54 African countries and government. It will not work.
Okay. Well, if you're listening to this program and you would like to interact with the ambassador, please give us a call right now on 020-737-1619. If you want to express a concern or have a question for him, or you want to clarify anything he's said so far, you're most welcome to do that. He said some very, very interesting things which is of interest to all of us of African origin. Now, let's quickly take one quick question, and then I will have a short break. So, how would you say Senegal is doing now, right now, economically and politically, in comparison with
All right.
neighboring countries and Africa in general?
Politically, you know, Senegal is a very stable country. I think since independence, we never have a coup d'etat in Senegal. And we established.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. This is Edmund.
Yes, welcome back. Go ahead.
I'm very happy what the ambassador just said about bringing us together, African countries.
Yes.
I just want to express than 2 years. But of course, I don't intend to stay too long. I'm actually trying to base when you are moving from Germany to Netherlands to Belgium.
Yeah.
There's no difference. You know, because I am crossing a country.
Yeah.
So, the same people who contribute to our division back at home,
Yeah.
they have stopped the division.
They dismantled the barriers within them.
Exactly. While moving from Togo
Yeah.
to Ghana,
It's a hassle.
it's a hell. I mean, I crossed that border a couple of times.
You didn't like it at all.
No, I'm trying to drive across the border. I have to park my car at the border.
Yeah.
Pay an amount there to put the car there to go to the other side. So, as one of our elders, I really want them that we the small ones, so we are really happy that we bring this up. So, we should bring this to our people back at home. And we see how we can go about it. They have the voice. We will support them. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well done. Well done. Thank you. You did get this remark?
Yes,
Okay. How would you respond?
I agree with him. You know, in West Africa, we met at the very beginning
Yeah.
in ECOWAS. A very big step
Yes.
with the free movement of people and goods.
Yeah.
But this has been hampered by some loophole. The principle is very nice one, and in all regional organizations in Africa,
Yeah.
people was they were admiring West Africa for
For that.
that. That with your just national ID, you can go
just
from
cross, yeah.
from Senegal to Cote d'Ivoire. But at the borders, you are going to encounter a lot of problems.
Yes.
So the principle of this law of free movement of people and goods is hampered by some corruption.
Yes.
Corrupted
Custom officers.
customers or
Yes.
police or immigrant they
Yes.
put on the border.
Yeah.
Here in Europe, you don't find anyone at the border.
No.
Yesterday, I went to Brussels. You don't know where, at what time you are out of the Netherlands.
Yes.
If you miss the one small sign on the road,
Yes.
you don't know where. There is no custom, no police people, no immigration people, nothing. That's if you say if you want freedom of movement, that's what you should do. But we have the principles, the law in West Africa, but the implementation of this law
Yes.
is very weak.
It's very
It's very, very bad, I should say.
very bad.
Absolutely.
I have family living in Cotonou, and when I am in Ghana and I want to cross the border, go visit, it's a problem. Can you imagine? I have to get a visa for Togo as well. It doesn't make sense. And, where I'm coming from Ghana, I should be able to cross, just like that. And so I think I agree with you. The implementation is bad.
Let me tell you that on things. At the African Union level,
Yeah.
the head of the president of the commission proposed to have an African passport.
Yes.
An African passport.
That's a good idea.
But he was saying, all right, just for head of state, for ministers, and for government representative.
Really.
Can you imagine a head of state coming from one country going to official visit to another country? He has to ask for a visa.
Really?
Yes, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. If the president of Senegal is going to Uganda, we have to look for a visa for the president of Senegal.
Wow.
While he is invited by his counterpart. This is how it works. So President Konare, who was president of the African Commission, proposed that we have an African passport.
Yes.
A lot of African countries opposed this measure.
Why?
Why?
Is it because of the little visa fees?
No, I don't
I
think,
think so.
it's a problem of fees. Maybe fees, but what they call sovereignty of
thing.
states.
Yes.
You see, we are sovereign, but you can find some British or some French tourists coming in our countries without visa.
Yes.
But from one head of state to another one to visit their country, they need a visa.
Correct.
It is scandalous.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Very scandalous. My God.
A lot needs to change. I mean, there needs to be a reform in the way, some of our leaders are thinking. Hey, why are they not seeing the opportunities, a United Africa can give to us? And they're looking at only the little, the kingdoms they're trying to protect for themselves, to feel so important in their own little country, in their own little state.
Yes.
That has become more important to them than the global benefit that we can all make again by opening the borders. I don't know who's going to address this, but somehow
this is an issue. It's very difficult. The African integration is hampered by the nation state. At the very beginning of independence, in the 1960s, let's say 1963, when we created the OAU, when Nkrumah proposed to have the United States of Africa established, one government, one army, one currency, it was possible at that time, because we didn't have, we were just coming from colonization. The nation states were not very strongly established in Africa. It was possible to do without this kind of sovereignty. Now everybody has his own flag, his own national anthem, and you see, that's very difficult to get out. But you see, the crisis we are going through in the whole world, and in Africa particularly, is going to teach everybody that we cannot make it alone.
Yes.
It's not possible. And we have to join our efforts, our resources, our financial, technical, and human resources together if you want to make it. Yeah.
And that also links to, what we were talking about earlier. Instead of going to look for, expecting, people, Westerners, the Western countries to come in with their money, with their technology, we also can actually deliberately encourage and look for other expertise within Africa and within our sub-regions and use them and encourage them. And I believe it will go a long way to help.
This is the target of integration.
Yes.
If you are talking about integration, it's not only political integration. We have to integrate the education in our countries. These centers of research have to be integrated. We should have the same program from Cairo to Cape Town, the same program from Mogadishu to Dakar, the same universities. You look at the crisis of universities in Africa.
Yes.
Our countries cannot afford to manage correctly big universities. But if we get together, we can have one university in West Africa, with one faculty of law in Dakar, one faculty of medicine in Abuja, one faculty of, like that. If we put together 15 countries of ECOWAS together, they can have very strong universities. But if you want to have your universities in Dakar or university, you are having crisis.
Yes.
You have a lot of students, you don't have enough money to accommodate them, and we cannot run this kind of university. What the colonial power did during the colonial time, let's say in Senegal, all West African countries colonized by France, they had one university, one big high school where all the leaders were trained. And this created a kind of understanding between leaders who have been trained in same center, same school, same university.
Yes.
That's what we should do. One university, big university in West Africa, in Central Africa, in East Africa. And we should speak the same language, create the same knowledge, have the same center of excellence, and we can have the technology, we can have the scientific knowledge to build up real economy and not depending on Western countries or this big, what we call big power, whether in West or in East or in Asia.
You know, when we have when we have everything settled, I mean, like we have this common integrated system, they will want to, you know, they will, of course, I mean, will be open to the world, and they can come and bring money, bring investment, and bring, you know, they can add to whatever we're doing. But it's important that we
even the money we are going to create it in Africa,
Yes.
the wealth
Yes.
we are going to create.
Yes.
Let's see, what makes the wealth of Western countries? It's our raw material.
Yes.
Because we are not transforming this material.
No.
We are selling our coffee, we are selling our cocoa,
Our
we are
oil.
selling our oil, we are selling our
Rubber.
iron, everything. They create industry, they create employment, and they create wealth from this raw material. And if you divide this by 5
Yes.
of our raw material, 4 parts are going to the developed countries and only 1 part to Africa. We have to reverse this kind of situation. If you are in a position to have enough scientific, enough technicians to transform our raw materials in our country, we have to create job, we have to create wealth, and you see, the technology is the main issue. We can create this when we get together as Africa.
Yes.
But if you take Senegal alone, we won't achieve anything.
Not too much.
Yeah. Now, if you want to buy chocolate, you go to Switzerland or you go to Belgium. You don't go to Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire.
Where we are producing.
Right. You see,
Hello, Kala, good morning. Yes, Mr. Ibrahim.
Alaikum assalam.
Welcome, sir. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for your appreciation.
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Oh, unfortunately, Your Excellency, our time is up. I want to just say the last few minutes, but let me just ask you, just in a minute or two, what would you like to tell the world, our listeners and the world, about your country, the Senegal? What message would you like to pass on before you leave?
All right, you know, all Senegal is a very stable country politically. As I was saying, we never had a coup d'etat in Senegal. We had a regime change by elections, and this is the 4th president we are having and who accepts to power by elections.
Wonderful.
So this is the stability of the Senegal, and this is one of our main values. But economically, Senegal is a poor country. We don't have oil. Our mining the system is very weak. We have phosphates and some gold, some iron, but not too much.
Large. Yeah.
So we developed our agriculture. This is agriculture, fish. The fisheries also are very developed in Senegal, and we are trying to transform our phosphates in Senegal. I think the main industrial plant in Senegal is, how do you call it, fertilizer.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And we had it with India as main partner.
Okay. Just I need to interrupt you now because our time is really gone. Let me just thank you. I'm sorry to have to interrupt. Let me thank you for making time. Hopefully, before you leave office, maybe we can arrange for you to come back to discuss some other aspects of, because I think we've touched on some very sensitive and important notes, and I think some of our listeners are really interested in hearing from you. So hopefully we can get you back.
Thank you very much. Thank you once again for having me in your program.
Yes.
It has been very interesting, very short but very interesting, and I hope that your listeners manage to understand my broken English. I once again apologize for that, and I'm happy to be here this morning, and thank you very much for
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. Well, listeners, we also like to thank you for being a part of the show, and we want to thank the ambassador for making time to come. Thank you so very much, and we want to wish you a good day. But before we sign up, we just want you to take this music.